Alright, folks, we're going to listen to this clown. You know, I go to Pastor Dowell a lot of times. I listen to some of the stuff he talks about, even though he's a polygamist, which to me is a slap in the face to modern day Christianity. Why would anybody be a polygamist? You ain't living in a third world country. Why you need to be a polygamist, okay? This guy is an Israelite, and I've always looked up to him, going all the way back to probably like 2015 or earlier, or earlier, because he is different than the Hebrew Israelite cult, okay? But, you know, I just got done listening to a whole line of, videos of him talking about, you know, what's going on in the White House right now and all like that. And then he comes up with this video right here, which he hasn't said this in a long time. I can go back about almost 5 years where he said this before. He's saying something he's already said. He has this disrespect for Christians. Okay? And I'm just showing you the video here. I'm gonna let him talk for a minute. I'm gonna let him say some things. Okay.
YouTube, Pastor Dowell here. Wake up, wake up. How y'all doing? So, this morning, briefly for a second, I want to be able to show y'all what's going on. The same thing that goes on in politics, to where there's a two-party, only two parties you can vote for, either Democrat or Republican, because they ostracize anybody else that opposes those two juggernauts. It's the same thing that goes on in religion, because religion would have you to believe that the only two so-called true religions coming from two different perspectives is Islam and Christianity, and neither one of them are right.
Now, before he goes on, to you that don't know what an Israelite is, Israelite in his case is basically a Christian who does not want to identify as a Christian because he believes that he can separate himself from Christianity and be an Israelite. Now, they practice things that Christians don't practice. They practice stuff that's in the Torah that God clearly said in the New Testament that we don't have to practice those things anymore because of Jesus. Like, we don't keep all the different Sabbaths. If you want to keep a Sabbath, you know, then that's fine. But we don't keep all the Sabbaths. We don't keep all the festivals. We don't keep all the ceremonial laws and all that stuff. We don't. Okay? But Dowell, here, Pastor Dowell, he is on this bandwagon of Israelitism, I call it. I can't call him the Hebrew Israelites because he's against them too, which that's why I always looked up to him, because he's an Israelite that's against the racism of Israelites. Matter of fact, his Israelite church is full of people of different races, which includes many, many white people that he's a pastor over and an overseer over in his church. And he has everything like we have in our Christian churches. He has, you know, deacons and elders and all that stuff. Okay. But he practices things that are unchristian. Like, one of them is polygamy. He has about like 3 or 4 wives, and to me in 2025 that's perverted. There's no reason in a country like America. I think he's out in the Carolinas. I'm not sure exactly where he's at, but I think he's in like North or South Carolina. There's no reason in the country of America for a man to practice polygamy. Polygamy in this modern day time, if it's right at all, would be for a man that is safeguarding women on a security level in a third world country. Like, I've met pastors in modern day time that are polygamists, and they take women that are refugees, women that are being attacked by, false military and stuff like that, especially in the Middle East and in Africa, places like that. There are men, pastors, evangelists, missionaries that have 3 or 4 wives because not only are they building themselves, a large family in a third world country, in a very, very, a country where, to me it's kind of dumb because you're just giving them bodies to persecute. Eventually, your wife, all your wives and your daughters and your sons are all going to be killed. You're living on a prayer. I mean, I'm not into that. I don't advise anybody to do that. But I can understand why they practice polygamy. They saved these women. They redeemed these women from, to the most part, redeemed them from torture. And because these women are the wives of one man, they have somebody to vouch for them when people come around and they try to enforce laws on these women. These women don't have to respect, certain laws in their provinces because they're married. Even if they're married all to the same man, that one man protects them. And in that country, polygamy is practice. So, I can understand that to some point. I do not understand why anybody here in the United States would practice polygamy. You got to be some kind of pervert. There's no reason in the United States to practice polygamy. I can take care of as many women as I want to. Me and my wife, we can get together if I'm married. Me and my wife, we can get together and we can put together something, for women out there, and people do it every day. I mean, I go to church, I meet ministers every day that are reaching out to the widows and reaching out to women that have been abused by their husbands and reaching out to women that have been prostitutes, crackheads, and women off the street and all like that. And we're putting them in the homes and we're putting security men over these women and all this kind of stuff. But ain't nobody putting his semen or putting his, pickle in all these different women and calling it right with God in 2025 in the land of America. That's crazy. He thinks this is normal. It's not. But I look up to this man on a political level, and I look up to this man on a, as far as, white people and black people coming together and all like that, except one thing. People that go to his church and that are just glad to be in, hopefully, they're hoping that they're in a right relationship with God. They're not really putting emphasis like he is on being an Israelite. Okay? But I'm going to let him talk for a little bit, and then I'm going to read about Paul here, because what he doesn't understand is that Israelitism was abolished when Christ came. Okay? Christ came, that meant that all Jews, Judaic, and all Jews that were just basically Israelites because of their race and their connection to the blood of the family, the seed of the family, okay? All Israelites had to be saved. They had to be saved. I have Paul's conversion right in front of me. Paul was an Israelite. And we start off in the book of Acts. And then we go into the book of Romans. He says, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, either Paul was considering himself a Christian, and I believe he was, or Paul believed that being an Israelite didn't mean anything. He was too busy concerned about Jews converting to Christianity and Gentiles converting to Christianity. He didn't really care about the fact that he was an Israelite, and he said he didn't care about the fact that he was an Israelite. But this man, this joker, he's going to sit there. Look at his net and look at his crap he says. Just listen to his just listen to his crazy stuff.
The custodian of the law. He was not a Christian, and he sure was not Islamic. Neither one of them. Yah's never said in the Bible that he is the God of Christianity or the God of Islam. The Bible, this thing right here that most of y'all refuse to read, this thing right here, the Bible.
I got one too, brother. I got one too. What's up?
History book of the Israelites. When Jesus came, he said in Matthew 15:24 that I have not been sent but unto the...
I'm going to say it again. Like I say about the Hebrew Israelites themselves. It goes for him too. The Bible came out of England. Okay? Those are white people. There might be black people on the committee now, but in the beginning, it wasn't nothing but Europeans or white people, whichever way you want to call them. Okay? White people brought us the Bible. So whatever the white people thought that was written, that was true Greek or true Hebrew, you can clap your hands and give and say thank you, white man, for giving us the Bible. Didn't no Israelite write the Bible. Okay? And Jews, Judaics, don't believe in the New Testament. They believe in the Torah. Okay? But this knucklehead thinks that he's somewhere in between, and that makes him the authority over us both. Okay? He's not Judaic. He's not Christian. He's not Islamic. He's an Israelite. Israelite are people that are of the commonwealth of Israel. It's not a religion, but him and a bunch of other people over the years have made it a religion. But he's in a religion. I could go to Israel right now. I could get on a plane and go meet a man or a woman that's living with his or her girlfriend, okay, in fornication. They're stone alcoholic, and maybe if they can do drugs in the land of Israel, they're doing drugs. And they are legally 100% Israelite. Because it's not about your religion, it's about you being born and raised Israelite. It's about your seed, your heritage being Israelite. Everybody that came out of Jacob, Abraham, and all them, everybody that came out of the tribes, all their grandchildren are not saved. Everybody ain't saved. And according to Paul, it's all about being saved. It's not about whether you're 100% Israelite or 100% Jew or 100% Hebrew or anything like that. Are you saved? Are you born again? That's what it's about. You ain't got to call yourself a Christian. But are you born again?
The lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's just having to be his people that are scattered throughout all this world in a diaspora. And so these people that make these nonsensical arguments, like with, is it Islam?
Let me say one more thing before I let him go on. It's really dumb because as soon as you get, now if you've ever if you ever read a document, I have a chapter in both my, I think in my Open Bible and in my KJV-ER. And I might have documentation in my Nelson New King James Complete about between the testaments. Now, what happened between the testaments? Okay? Nobody in the nation of Israel there is no Israelite religion in the nation of Israel. You might have some dark complected people in there, mainly people that look like me, they look like black people, who call themselves Israelites. And they serve the Lord, but they don't do like this brother. They're not doing like this brother. Okay? They are living for the Lord, and the only reason why they call themselves an Israelite is because they're not accepted by the Judaics. But the Judaics are the religion. There was never an Israelite religion until when? Somewhere in this century that we're in right now? Or even later? Just recently. This religion is made up. It did not come out of Paul, and it did not come out of Christ. And if you listen to this brother enough, if you listen to his sermons and that, you'll find out the only reason why he talks about Jesus is because he has to cover the bases. But really, though, he's all about the Old Testament, the Torah, and somewhere in there he does not see the redemptive blood of Jesus, how that changed everything 99%. He does not see that. He's still living. It's silly because you have between the testaments, okay, and a whole bunch of stuff was already just turned completely around in between the testaments. If you read between the testaments, then when you get to Matthew, the first chapter, you see a world where, the Jews, by a religion as well as by a culture, run all the nations where, the tribes of Israel dwell, including, anything that's normally called part of Israel. It's about Judaism. Where's the Israelites at? Where's the Israelites at in Matthew chapter 1? An Israelite is a person, again, an Israelite is a person that is of the commonwealth of Israel, that is born and raised biologically Israelite. It doesn't make him a man or a child of God. A fornicator, an adulterer, a rapist can be an Israelite. He's making a religion out of it. He's making a religion out of a race. But yet, he wants to get all these people together and call them Israelites. And all he is doing is trying to start a war with Christianity that never happened. But he wants to convince people that Christianity is wrong. I'm letting him talk. I'm sorry. I'll never get to my reading if I don't let him talk.
Well, is it Christianity? It definitely ain't neither one of them. The book is the history of Israel. When the Israelites, well, let's just go from here for a second so I can give you a quick education. Jacob had 4 women.
Jacob. He's totally skipping the fact that everything changed when Jesus came. And that is just unchristian. It's bad. It's bad. I don't even know where he stands with God at this point. He's going all the way back to Jacob, and then he's going to skip over Jesus and say Jesus never. No, that's not. Okay, let him talk. Okay.
And he had 12 sons and a daughter. And out of those 4 women come the 12 tribes of what? Christianity? Christianity didn't even come until some 300 years after the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. Jesus was not a Christian. You cannot find it in the book. It's a religion.
That's so dumb. Jesus, the whole point of Christianity And this is the thing. Let me say this before I forget. The whole point of Christianity is the fact that Paul, he finished the work of Jesus by getting these churches together from the book of Romans all the way to the book of Jude. His epistle to the churches are all about him turning what Jesus did. He said, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation, in the book of Romans. Okay? What these Israelites don't understand is that the reason why the Christians were called Christians at Antioch, because they were the persecuted church. They were the ones that were being sent to the lions. They were the ones that the Apostle Paul, when his name was Saul, was going around killing Christians. Wasn't no Israelites being persecuted for Christ. And nobody was an Israelite, or being an Israelite wasn't a religion. It might have had something to do with your education, but it really wasn't a religion. Okay? Until people like him made it one. And Paul, you could be, again, if you could be an Israelite, and you could be like Paul. Paul was an Israelite, and he was proud of being an Israelite because of his education, not because of his faith, because his faith was in Jesus Christ. Okay? Paul was able to transfer all that knowledge that he had as an Israelite, his education. Okay? But look, an Israelite, this is what's dumb about him being an Israelite. You're either just an Israelite or you are Judaic. Paul was Judaic. He's what we would call today Judaic. If you were in the Israelite religion, that meant you were Judaic. The same people that Jesus condemned and condemned them to hell. This Israelite religion is a farce. If you really try to find it in Scripture. Where is it? I can understand how I can't, because everybody and anybody can't be an Israelite. You look at Paul and let Paul say why he is an Israelite. That is not Pastor Dowell. Pastor Dowell's educational level doesn't fit that. Pastor Dowell is not in the seat of Jacob like that. You want to tell me all those mixed races of people that go to his church are all part of the seed of the 12 tribes of Israel? Man. Okay.
Religion that has imposed itself to practice replacement theology of the Israelites. And remember, and all Israel shall be saved. See, so what they do is the same way that they ignore the independent party in politics, is the same way in religion that they ignore the Israelites or the people of the book. And that's still going on today. So they make these nonsensical debates about Islam and Christianity when neither one of them are relevant according to the book. Well, I see Christian mentioned 3 times in the book. You see Christian in there, but you don't go look behind the word.
The reason why Christianity, again, only shows up 1 or 2 or 3 times, depending on what translation you read, is because the word Christian was all about the people of the way. It says right here, when Paul became a Christian, Paul's conversion, what were they called before they were called Christians? They were called the people of the way. They were called the people of the way. That's what they were called before they became Christians. They were never called Israelites, because Israelites meant that you was just 100% Jew, or that you were in the Jewish religion. or both, mainly both. Okay? And Jesus condemned him for it. And now he's trying to come in here and be something in between and calling this the main power. No, come on, brother. And then he wants to talk about Islam. Common sense tells you that Islam ain't in the Bible. You ain't even got to look. You ain't even got to read the Bible to know Islam ain't in there. You know what I'm saying? Like that has nothing to do with it. He's relating us to Islam like Islam is only powerful by terrorism and followers. It is not empowered by truth and spirit. Yeah, the spirit of the devil. Okay? But he's just really off his rocker here, man. Like, you know?
You don't go back and look at it. It says, you know, when you almost persuaded me to be a Christian, you mean you almost persuaded me to be a disciple of what they call Christ, Christo, but really Messiah. That's what it is. There you cannot find
same thing.
No instructions, no rules, and no guidelines for Christianity. When Yahweh came down,
that's where you have failed, because when Jesus died on the cross, what's it say? He abolished. When it says when Jesus died on the cross, okay, he made the sacrifice for sin for us. Okay, we can go look at the law, but the law is really common sense if you're a Christian. We know in our hearts and in our minds that we should not commit adultery, that we shouldn't use God's name in vain, that we shouldn't do that. Now, thanks be to God and thanks be to Paul, you know, we can go back to the Old Testament and look at the law. But we are not people of the Torah. We are people of the way. We are people of the church of God. We are the saints of the living God. Okay? Our faith is all about Jesus Christ. It's not about the Torah. It's not about Islam. And it's not about Israelitism. Israelites. It's about our faith is about Jesus Christ. He's the author and finisher of our faith. The author and finisher of our faith is nobody who was ever a 100% Israelite or a 100% Jew. The people that we look up to are Gentiles. They're not Jews. Other than Paul. Paul is the only Jew we really look up to, that we have to bow our head to, or take our hat off to, is Paul. Nobody else in the Jewish community or the Israelite community does it say anywhere in the Bible that we have to give homage to. Paul was the man of the Christian movement. And whether he called himself a Christian or not, he was the author of it. He was the one that brought the churches together. And he told them what the policies were of the church according to his understanding as an Israelite of the Torah. But we don't have to go and celebrate and practice all these rituals and festivals like they did, or we might as well go back and start cutting lambs open too. No. We respect the Bible. We respect the law that everybody has to follow, whether they're an Israelite or a Gentile. We don't have to practice every Sabbath, every festival. Okay? I think you should be practicing the Passover. I don't think that's just an Israelite thing. I think we should celebrate the Passover because of Jesus. We practice communion, and all like that. He makes a big deal about Christmas and Easter and all this kind of stuff. But, you know what I'm saying? We don't practice Easter and Christmas. It wasn't called Christmas when it was pagan. Okay, in Easter, we celebrate it totally different than they do in the ritual Easter. We're a slap in the face to, I don't celebrate any of these holidays. You know what I'm saying? Once a year, I give my grandkids gifts. And, I'll probably go to church on Easter if I can, if depending on what I'm doing. But I don't make a big deal about any holiday. But he thinks that we actually worship Christmas. Like we can't be Christians without Christmas. We can't be Christians without Easter. In every denomination, I put it in the comment section here, every denomination and every Christian is their own person. We have that liberty in Christ. We have the free will to be who we understand, who we need to be according to Scripture, which God gave him that right as well. And he just took it to a level that, I don't know. Is he going to be one? I don't know. I don't know if him and I both can stand before God. Because if he's right, I'm going to burn in hell. You're telling me that all these Christians and all these people that designed our Bible for us, going all the way back to the Quakers, going all the way back to escaping the Catholic Church and bringing Christianity into the United States. You mean to tell me all these people are pagan? That have been here long before you ever thought about becoming an Israelite? Because the Israelites are over in Jerusalem. They're over in Israel. They're not here in the United States. Those are real Israelites.
Came down on Mount Sinai. And he's given the 10 Commandments to who? The children of Israel.
Old Testament.
All right? And when the tribes got split, the northern tribe and the southern tribe, were they the tribes of Christianity or the tribes of Israel?
Old Testament.
All the disciples that you read about in the book, especially the apostles, were they not Israelites?
Yes.
Were they not believers?
And they were also Christians, musclehead.
By going in here and talking about Christianity and trying to make an argument for it in the book, y'all still being deceived. Christianity is a religion to where you can be gay, you can be a homosexual, you can be a lesbian, you can love boys, you can break the commandments.
I will hand him one thing. People will try, because Christianity is more universal, it's a bigger spread. Thanks to the Catholic Church, they blown Christianity way out of proportion. I will admit that. People will try and deceive Christianity before they try to deceive any other thing that uses the same Bible. Any religion out there that uses the same Bible that I read from, okay, they're either all involved or they're all not. Whereas Christianity, yes, I will hand it to them. We're very diverse. Christianity is diverse like people, period, are diverse. All black people ain't alike. All white people ain't alike. All Asians ain't from the same country. Okay? They might be from the same continent, but they ain't from the same country. And then you got Asians living over here in the United States that never seen the continent of Asia. They don't want to go nowhere near it. They were born and raised here for so many generations. They don't know nothing about the continent of Asia. What's the continent of Asia? You know, Christianity is so diverse that some people don't even know that unless you're getting your Christianity out of the Bible, you're not a Christian. They don't understand that. They think that you can just pray a prayer and become a Christian. They think that you can just go and let some dude in a choir gown tell you about whatever he wants to tell you about, and if you don't know the word, then you just accept what he says and you call it Christianity. I understand that, but I read the same Bible that Pastor Dowell reads. Okay? And the problem is, what we do agree on is the same thing we disagree on, and even bigger, because my faith begins And it even says that in the Bible. My faith begins with Jesus. Okay? My faith begins with Jesus Christ. That's where my faith, religion, or whatever he wants to call it, it begins with Jesus Christ. I'm not going back to the Old Testament to find my faith. The Old Testament, what's the Bible say about the Old Testament? The Old Testament is a tutor. But it is not Christianity. Okay? We go there to find out, but it is not Christianity. Okay? And Christianity is a very big word, and people there's all kinds of different meanings for it. Thanks to the Catholic Church and thanks to denominations that ain't got nothing to do with, that ain't following Scripture. Okay? Yes, Christianity is like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, calling something a cat, and you don't know the difference between a cat and a dog. You don't know the difference between a dog and a wolf. You don't know the difference between a dog and a fox. A dog and a hyena. You just calling everything, a cat. And that's the way they treat Christianity. Everything's Christian. No, it's not. And he doesn't understand that there is a remnant of Christians that are very loud and clear that Christianity is biblical. And it's biblical according to our understanding of theology about the New Testament. And once we understand where to find ourselves in the New Testament, then we can go to the Old Testament to sharpen up the policies and procedures of being a Christian. But first of all, we got to find our place in Jesus first. And we don't have to pass through the word Israelite or Jew or none of that. Okay? And if I don't know whether I'm a Jew or not, I'm probably 99.99 a Gentile. Or I would know I'm a Jew. Okay? But it's just, to me, it's almost heresy. And he speaks about it so confidently, like, he's just lost. No, dude, I'm lost. I'm lost listening to you, dude. Like, you getting all hyper about this like you really talking something. And no. Jesus came because your Israelite culture failed. It's like that Zelensky guy walking into the White House, okay, and changing his deal proposal. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, the Israelites kept breaking up with God, and they had to keep returning to God. That's why the Gentiles were grafted in. Your 12 tribes failed. Okay? And that's where between the testaments come in, because they failed between the testaments too. I'm going to have to do a part 2 on the part where I'm going to do a part 2, and then I'm going to read to you about Paul.
There's no set apartness, there's no holiness. Christianity is the religion for civilization. To be an Israelite, you have a tribal mentality. And being a part of a tribe is bigger than your selfish, civilized mind. But they're going to keep on arguing this, and they're going to continue to keep ostracizing that no matter how many times you go in that book and see how many times you see Israel or Israelite, and when you see Israel and Israelite, don't sit up there and try to talk as if it's talking about that country over in Tel Aviv that has the largest gay pride parade every single year. No. Those people are Ashkenazi. As a matter of fact, I just got finished talking to an Ashkenazi the other day. And I come to the conclusion, they keep them just as dumb and ignorant as Christianity does the people in America. The guy, I asked him, I said, so you from Ashkenazi, right? Oh, yeah, from Ashkenazi. Says, oh, okay, so you're from the line of Japhet, huh? Japhet? Man, go read Bereshit chapter 10 and find out. I've seen him 2 or 3 times since then, and of course he waves, but he keeps it moving. We're supposed to be able to sit down and have this discussion over beer. But that's what he said. We can have a discussion over beer, and every time I see him, boy, he disappears real fast. He said, well, who are you? I said, my name is Pastor Dowell. I am from the tribe of Judah. I'm an Israelite in exile to my Yah. And not only I, but all my people are scattered throughout this diaspora. We are what you call the lost sheep of the house of Israel, but we're not lost. Oh, interesting. I said, I think it's pretty interesting that you know you're an Ashkenazi, but you don't know.
So what about your people over there in Israel that don't think your black behind is worthy to worship with them? What about your people of your tribe over in Israel? Because they will show you in the books, okay, and not only in the Bible, in the Torah, but they will show you in their genealogy books that they have sitting right next to their Bibles who they are, going all the way back to the Garden of Eden. They'll show you who they are. And you don't speak Yiddish, you don't speak Hebrew, or whatever languages that are spoken in Israel. You are an American who, if you went to Israel and was asked questions, or you went to Israel and tried to sit down with your brothers, okay? Where do we begin to bring the Jews to accept their Messiah? And Christians are out here to help the Jews accept their Messiah. Is this guy trying to help the Jews accept their Messiah? Or does he think that he naturally has a Messiah? Because, and you know what, I listen to him, I listen to some of his sermons, I never hear him talk about how you get saved. So, brother, I'm proud to be a Christian. I'm proud to be different than you. I'm proud to believe that it's all about Christians. It's all about, it's all about, what does it say? The people of the way. Nowhere in the Bible, he says, well, they didn't call anybody a Christian. Well, they didn't call nobody in here an Israelite either. If you mentioned that you were Israelite, you were just basically talking about your genealogy. You weren't talking about your faith. God.
Don't know you're the seed of Japhet. That is interesting. So there's a concerted effort to block out all truth concerning the real truth of this book. Was Jesus a Christian or an Israelite?
I got one too.
Was Nathaniel a Christian or an Israelite? Was Paul or Peter a Christian or were they Israelites?
I got it right here.
Was Moses a Christian or an Israelite? The prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Ezekiel. Jeremiah, Yesaiah.
That's all the Torah.
Were they
Old Testament
Christians or Israelites? Because Islam ain't got nothing to do with it. Islam comes
You're right.
100 years.
I don't even know why you brought Islam up.
And resurrection of Messiah. So if you was going to pick one of them that's false, you would surely probably go with Islam because they're morally more correct than any Christian I've ever met in my life. And I'm not disparaging the religion. I understand. When you get finished with it all, you go to the book of Revelation, you ain't going to see Christians as being saved. It's going to be Israel. The word playing, the mental gymnastics is staggering to me how people can't associate something so simple and then put in there, and because they put these two juggernauts out in front of you, Islam and Christianity, you argue those perspectives and point of views. You just argue. And neither Christianity or Islam believe in the Messiah. Neither one of them believe in Jesus. They don't believe in the real Jesus. Christianity's got a Jesus that they done made up. One that was in a manger and 3 wise men came to see him when he was a baby. Is that true? Or they create a religion to where you don't keep the feast days, but you make up your own. You go and chase rabbit with eggs. You know, you paint eggs and hot cross buns and everything else. You put up trees and call it Christmas, and you cannot find no instructions, no rules, and no guidelines for neither one of those celebrations. But yet they call it Christianity. See what I mean? Christianity is totally different than Israel. Now, a person can believe in Messiah, but being a Christian is totally irrelevant. Being in Islam is totally irrelevant because, again, if you would read your Bibles, you know, the antidote and the cure for all religious lies is reading the Bible. And when you do that, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to get ostracized. You're going to get slandered. You're going to get falsely accused. You're going to get defamed. They're going to cast your name out as dung. Your family's going to hate you. Your friends will leave you. Some of you, your wife would divorce you, or your husband would divorce you. Your children would forsake you. You might as well get ready, because Jesus told you in Matthew 10, don't you think that I come to send peace on earth? I didn't come to send peace. I came to send a sword. I come to set a man at variance against his father. And I come to set a mother against her daughter. And a daughter-in-law against a mother-in-law, which people understand that one. And a man's own foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father and mother more than me is not worthy of me. He that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. I'm telling you right now, y'all better get it right. You better start reading this book. And you better start listening to those who follow this book, who live this book. But get yourself ready for persecution. So the argument is not about which one is the right religion. Christianity, wrong. Islam, wrong. It's about being an Israelite. Right. That is the truth, and the truth straight way.
All right. Let's stop there. He seems like he's not sure.
What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to make money with...
He seems like he's not sure of where he stands, okay, with his Israelite faith, because I think he's mad because Christianity, when it comes to anywhere where you would say Islam is wrong, or you would say that any other religion that uses the same Bible we do is wrong, people are going to say, well, you know, Christianity. And then when you say Israelite, you're going to say, well, what's that? I understand Christianity. What's an Israelite? Why do I need to be an Israelite? Isn't Christianity for all races? Why would I wait till 2025 to worry about whether I'm an Israelite or not? When you talk about Israelite, you're talking about your race. Okay, what if I'm not of the 12 tribes? What if I'm not of the 12 tribes? Now, I remember him saying before that you can become of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? But that's kind of dumb what he just said. Okay, you're not necessarily by record or proof of genealogy or bloodline, you're not proven to be one of the 12 tribes of Israel, but you're going to go around with the authority and saying, well, my name is Pastor DeRoy Cruz. Okay, I'm of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay? And I believe that if you were born in this country and you have no clue of your Hebrew roots or Israelite roots, you basically are a Gentile, whether you are related to the Jews or not, you are a Gentile. and you will accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, whether you are an Israelite or a Gentile. Everybody has to be saved. Everybody's got to be saved. Everybody's got to be born again. It doesn't matter what your bloodline is. And one of the things that people don't understand is that all them Jews over there in Israel practicing Judaism, in order to accept their Messiah, they have to accept not only who the true Messiah is, but they also have to accept his offer, his sacrifice of salvation. But again, this brother, we have Christianity. And when we go to respect the religion of the Jews, the Israelites, okay, we're talking Judaism. Now, he might be able to walk up on some white dude and say, well, I'm of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay. But let him go to Israel, to the Holy Land, and tell them people stand in front of the wall bopping their head, I'm of the tribe of Benjamin. They're going to laugh in his face. No, brother, I'm of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay? Take your black behind back to America and sag your pants like the rest of them. Don't nobody care about you thinking you from the tribe of Benjamin. And even if you are of the tribe of Benjamin, what you got to offer, brother? What you got to offer me? What you going to do for me? You think we just going to let you come in here looking like you look? You don't look like none of us. You just going to come in here and be an Israelite? I don't think so. You might have been an Israelite a long time ago. You ain't one now. If you was ever really one. Because if you was really an Israelite, the Jews went through the Holocaust and everything else. That didn't stop them from being Jews. They didn't need a religion to be Jews. They know they Jews. They know where they come from. But we got this religion where we're gonna make a religion out of what? Seed and offspring and tribes and all that kind of stuff. And Jesus, that's not Jesus. That's not the Spirit of Christ. That's not the Apostle Paul. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in him would not perish. Whosoever believes in him. It's not whatever Israelite believes in him. Whatever Jewish person believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So he thinks that he's of the tribe of Benjamin, but all them white people that are the deacons in his church, are they of the tribe of Benjamin too? Oh, I know he's going to say, well, there were white tribes, and there were melanated tribes or some junk. Who knows? Who knows, man? This is crazy, man. This is crazy. I'm out of here. Thank you for watching. I think it hurted me more to talk about it and make a video about it than it did for me to watch him rattle off. I don't think I feel any better. I thought doing a video about it, I would feel better, but I don't feel anything. I feel kind of dumb. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon with more.